Hello everyone, my today's topic is carboxylic acids. So however, carboxylic acids are represented by R, C double bond OOH. Now however, where the R is going to be the alkyl group and COOH is the carboxylic acid group. Now let us start with the methods of preparation of carboxylic acids. Methods of preparation. Like there are many methods where carboxylic acids are prepared. So the first method is going to be the oxidation. So we can obtain such carboxylic acids by the oxidation from primary alcohols. So now let us consider a primary alcohol, that is RCH2OH. So this particular compound, it is going to react with K2Cr2O7 in the presence of dilute H2SO4. So when this reaction occurs, we are going to get an aldehyde. Okay, when this oxidation reaction occurs, we are going to get an aldehyde. So therefore, we are going to get it as C aldehyde, where because if you see oxidation, it is the removal of the hydrogen atoms and the addition of oxygen. So what did we do here is that this hydrogen is removed, that is 2 hydrogens from here are removed, and ultimately we get an aldehyde. Now this aldehyde, it is further allowed to react with the same compound, and therefore we get a carboxylic acid. This is how we get carboxylic acid, by the oxidation of the primary alcohols. This primary alcohol, it is allowed to react with the K2Cr2O7 in the presence of the dilute H2SO4, which ultimately will lead to the formation of aldehyde, and this same aldehyde, it is going to react with the same reagent, and ultimately we are going to get the carboxylic acid. There is one condition for us to get the carboxylic acid from the primary alcohol, is that the primary alcohol should always have an alpha hydrogen. This is a very important condition. Alpha hydrogen should be present in the alcohols, primary alcohols. Now a second way is from the secondary alcohols. So now if I consider a secondary alcohol, even this secondary alcohol also should have an alpha hydrogen. Definitely the secondary alcohol will have an alpha hydrogen, because this is the alpha hydrogen itself. So therefore, it will react with the same reagent, that is K2Cr2O7 in the presence of the dilute H2SO4, which ultimately is going to give us a ketone. That is, we are going to get RCOR, which is a ketone, and this ketone is going to react with a nascent oxygen, which will ultimately lead to the formation of a carboxylic acid. This how you get a carboxylic acid from the secondary alcohols. So what do? We take the secondary alcohol, we react it with K2Cr2O7 in the presence of the dilute H2SO4, which will give us a ketone but not an aldehyde, and this aldehyde is directly going to react with a nascent hydrogen, which ultimately will lead to the formation of the carboxylic acid. Now we can also get carboxylic acid by the oxidation of the tertiary alcohols. Now let us consider a tertiary alcohol, that is RCrROH. Now if you see here, there is no alpha hydrogen which is present in this particular tertiary alcohol. Now since there is no alpha hydrogen present in this particular alcohol, we can't react it directly with the K2Cr2O7. One thing we should remember is that whenever K2Cr2O7 is taking part in the oxidation of a particular alcohol, that alcohol should have an alpha hydrogen. So therefore, this particular compound, it is going to react with CrO3, which ultimately will lead to the formation of an alkene, that is RCr with a double bond CH2. That is, this alcoholic group is however lost, and therefore we are going to form a double bond. And ultimately, this particular compound is going to react with the nascent oxygen in the presence of the K2Cr2O7, which ultimately will lead to the formation of a ketone. Now this ketone, it is again going to react with the nascent oxygen, which ultimately will lead to the formation of a carboxylic acid. This is how carboxylic acids are produced from the tertiary alcohols. I repeat, the tertiary alcohol, it is allowed to react with CrO3, that is chromium oxide, and then it will lead to the formation of an alkene. Now this alkene is going to react with the nascent oxygen in the presence of the K2Cr2O7, which ultimately leads to the formation of a ketone, and this ketone is again going to undergo oxidation, which ultimately leads to the formation of a carboxylic acid. Now we can also get carboxylic acid from saturated as well as the unsaturated compounds. So whenever the saturated or unsaturated compounds come into picture, if they react with a strong oxidizing agent, that is KMnO4, then we get a carboxylic acid. For example, let us consider this particular compound. It is a saturated compound, so it does not have any double bond. And when it reacts with KMnO4, it easily leads to the formation of the benzoic acid. But since this compound is saturated, there is a very important condition where the carboxylic acid can be formed. The carboxylic acid can only be formed by reacting with the KMnO4 under the alkaline conditions. That is, the KMnO4 under the alkaline conditions can oxidize the saturated compounds only. But if you see the unsaturated compounds such as the styrene, it reacts with the same reagent KMnO4, but here we require acidic conditions. So acidic conditions are required for the reaction of the unsaturated compounds with the KMnO4 to give the benzoic acid, and the alkaline condition is required for the KMnO4 to react it with the saturated compounds to give a carboxylic acid. Now our next method of preparation of the carboxylic acid is by the hydrolysis method. So however, we can obtain the carboxylic acid by the hydrolysis of amides, nitriles or acyl chlorides. Now in case of amides, let us consider benzamide. This compound is called as benzamide. Now this benzamide, it is allowed to react with water under acidic conditions, and that too in the presence of heat. So ultimately what is exactly going to happen is that both, that is the H hydrogen of the HCl as well as the hydrogen of water are going to combine with the NH2, which ultimately gives us NH4, and this Cl is going to combine with NH4 to give the ammonium chloride. And now we are only left with OH, which is going to combine with this carbonyl compound to give the benzoic acid. I repeat, the benzamide, it is allowed to react with HCl and water in the presence of heat to give the ammonium chloride and benzoic acid. Now exactly what is happening is that the hydrogen atom of the HCl and the water, they are going to combine with NH2 to give NH4, and the Cl atom which is present in the HCl will combine with this NH4, which ultimately will lead to the formation of NH4Cl, that is ammonium chloride. And ultimately we are only left with OH, and therefore this OH is going to combine with the carbonyl group, and ultimately it is going to give us the benzoic acid. Now if you talk about nitriles, So nitriles, they are simply also called as cyanides. So therefore let us consider R, C, triple bond N, which is reacting it with water. So ultimately when this reaction occurs, we know that N has a negative charge and ultimately this will have a positive charge. It is considered to have a positive charge. So what is exactly going to happen is that these electrons which are present here, they are going to combine with H and ultimately these electrons which are present, they are going to combine with the C, that is carbon atom. I repeat, these electrons which are present, these lone pair of electrons which are present in the nitrogen atom, they are going to combine with the hydrogen atom of water, and the OH group of water is going to donate this electron towards the C, the carbon atom. And ultimately we are going to get an imine. Imine is a highly unstable compound. So since this OH, it is going to combine with C, and therefore we get COH, and therefore we get a double bond NH. That is, this electron, it has gone combined with the H, and therefore this particular compound is called as an imine. An imine is highly unstable, and therefore it is definitely going to undergo something called as the tautomerism, or you can say tautomerization, which ultimately will lead to the formation of an amide. That is, this will become C double bond O, and this H is going to combine with NH, which ultimately will lead to the formation of NH2. And this is an amide. Now this amide, it will again undergo hydration. That is, it is going to react with water in the presence of heat, and ultimately NH3 is going to get lost, which ultimately will give us a carboxylic acid. So NH3, it is getting lost by one hydrogen atom from the water. It is going to combine with NH2, which ultimately releases the ammonia, and we are only left with OH, and this OH, it is going to combine with the carbonyl group, which ultimately leads to the formation of a carboxylic acid. Now if you are talking about acyl chloride, so acyl chloride, let us take the benzoyl chloride. So benzoyl chloride, we have an benzene ring with C double bond O and Cl. Now this benzoyl chloride, when it reacts with water, it is going to undergo dehydrohalogenation reaction, where this Cl atom and this H atom are going to combine together, which will give us HCl, and ultimately we are left with benzene and CO, and we are left with OH, which is going to combine with the carbonyl compound to give us benzoic acid. Now next, let us go to the reactions of the carboxylic acids. So carboxylic acids, they can easily undergo the chlorination reactions. So if we consider a carboxylic acid, it can undergo chlorination in the presence of PCl5 or PCl3 or SOCl2. Now, however, whether the carboxylic acid it reacts with PCl5, PCl3 or SOCl2, we ultimately get an acyl chloride. Now this acyl chloride, it is formed by the reaction of carboxylic acid with PCl5, PCl3 or SOCl2. Now if you see, depending on the reagent, the byproducts which are formed are different. So if the carboxylic acid, it reacts with PCl5, then the byproducts which are formed will be HCl and POCl3. But if our reagent is PCl3, then the byproduct which is formed is H3PO3, and if the reactant, that is the reagent, it is SOCl2, then it is going to form HCl plus SO2. And if you see this SO2, SOCl2, that is called as sulfonyl chloride. That is also called as thionyl chloride. It is the best reagent. It is the best reagent for the chlorination of carboxylic acids. Now the carboxylic acid, it can also undergo other reactions as well. So for example, if the carboxylic acid, it is reacting with ammonia, we are going to get an amide. That is, there is a dehydration reaction which is going to occur. That is, one hydrogen, the OH along with the one hydrogen atom of the ammonia are going to come together to give water, and ultimately we are only left with NH2, which is going to combine with the carbonyl group, and ultimately we are going to get an amide. Now the carboxylic acid, it can also undergo reduction in the presence of LiAlH4. So mainly the carboxylic acid, when they undergo the reduction reaction, they lead to the formation of alcohols, and that too primary alcohols. So therefore we get RCH2OH, which is a primary alcohol. Now the carboxylic acid, it can also undergo reactions with another carboxylic acid or the same carboxylic acid to give anhydride, that too in the presence of the catalyst P2O5 and heat. So ultimately we get an anhydride. Now this anhydride, it is however obtained by the dehydration, that is the OH from this carboxylic acid and one hydrogen atom from this carboxylic acid, they are going to get lost, and ultimately it will lead to the formation of water, and ultimately we are only left with these two. So therefore we get an anhydride. Now the carboxylic acids, they can also undergo decarboxylation reactions. So whenever the carboxylic acids, they undergo decarboxylation reaction, this whole group is lost. So whenever this COOH group is lost, we get an alkane. Now there's one more reaction where the carboxylic acids, they react with alcohols, that is R-OH. This is an alcohol, and ultimately when they react together, there is an ester formation which occurs. Here also there is a dehydration which occurs. That is, the OH of the carboxylic acid and 1H of the ROH, they are going to combine together to give water. And ultimately we are going to get RCOOR dash, which is an ester.